What if I told you that one man's refusal to stop praying for just 30 days would expose the most elaborate political conspiracy in ancient history and result in him being thrown alive into a pit full of starving lions? This isn't just a story about faith, it's about corruption, jealousy, and a miracle so impossible that it converted an entire empire. You're about to witness how one night in darkness changed everything. The year is 539 BC, and the massive Persian Empire stretches from India to Egypt, the largest empire the world has ever known. King Darius the Mede has just conquered Babylon, and he faces an impossible task: governing 127 provinces with their different languages, cultures, and rebellious spirits. The smell of conquest still hangs in the air: burnt wood, spilled wine, and the metallic scent of blood from recent battles. In this chaotic world of political intrigue and shifting loyalties, one man stands out among all others. His name is Daniel, and at over 80 years old, he possesses something that money can't buy and power can't corrupt: unshakable integrity. For nearly 70 years, he has served in the highest levels of government, surviving the fall of Babylon and now thriving under Persian rule. Picture this elderly statesman, his beard white as snow, his eyes sharp as diamonds, his reputation spotless as polished marble. King Darius doesn't just respect Daniel, he plans to put him in charge of the entire empire. But here's what nobody expected: Daniel's unprecedented success has created a powder keg of jealousy among the other government officials. These are men who have clawed their way to power through bribes, blackmail, and betrayal. They watch in disbelief as this Hebrew exile, this foreign captive, rises higher than them all. Can you imagine their fury? Their sleepless nights plotting, their desperate searches for any scandal, any mistake, any weakness they could exploit? Night after night, they pore over Daniel's records like vultures circling carrion. They examine every decision, every transaction, every judgment he's made. They question his servants, spy on his meetings, and analyze his correspondence. The sound of scrolls unrolling and pen scratching echoes through dimly lit chambers as they work by flickering candlelight. Their eyes burn red with exhaustion and envy, but they find nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then one of them speaks the words that will seal Daniel's fate. "We will never find any basis for charges against this man Daniel unless it has something to do with the law of his God." The room falls silent except for the crackling of torches. You can almost hear their hearts pounding as the implications sink in. They can't destroy Daniel's character, so they'll use his greatest strength against him: his unwavering devotion to God. What happens next is a masterclass in political manipulation. These cunning conspirators approach King Darius with flattery dripping from their tongues like honey from a comb. "Your Majesty," they say, "we believe you are so magnificent, so powerful, so worthy of worship, that for the next 30 days, no one in your empire should pray to any god or man except to you." The king's chest swells with pride. Who wouldn't want to be revered as a god? The trap is perfect, and Darius walks right into it. He signs the decree into law, sealed with the royal signet ring that makes it irrevocable according to the laws of the Medes and Persians. The conspirators exchange glances. Their plan is now unstoppable. But here's what makes this moment even more chilling. They know Daniel prays 3 times a day, every single day facing Jerusalem. They've watched him. They've counted. They know his routine better than he knows it himself. The decree spreads through the empire like wildfire. Town criers shout it in the streets, scribes copy it onto countless scrolls, and royal messengers carry it to every corner of the realm. The message is clear. For 30 days, King Darius is the only deity anyone may worship. Violation means death by lions. The words echo off palace walls, through bustling marketplaces, and into the quiet chambers where Daniel conducts the empire's business. When Daniel hears the decree, he faces the most crucial decision of his life. Imagine standing in his sandals at that moment. He could pray privately, in secret, behind closed doors where no one could see. He could take a 30-day vacation from his prayer routine. Surely God would understand. He could rationalize, compromise, or simply wait it out. But Daniel doesn't hesitate for even a heartbeat. He walks straight to his house, climbs to his upper room, and opens his windows facing Jerusalem. 3 times that day, morning, noon, and evening, Daniel kneels by those open windows and prays exactly as he has done for decades. His voice carries on the wind, his words floating down to the courtyard below, where his enemies wait like spiders in their web. The afternoon sun casts long shadows across the floor as his lips move in familiar prayers of thanksgiving, petition, and praise. He knows they're watching. He knows what this means. And he doesn't care. The conspirators can barely contain their glee. They rush to King Darius like children tattling on a sibling, their faces flushed with excitement and malicious triumph. "Your Majesty," they announce, "Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day." But as the words leave their mouths, they watch the king's face change from confusion to horror. Darius realizes he's been played like a harp string. The blood drains from his face as the full weight of their manipulation crashes over him like an avalanche. His most trusted advisor, his most valuable minister, the one man he planned to elevate above all others, he's just sentenced him to death. The king's hands shake as he grasps the arms of his throne. He's trapped by his own law, caught in a snare he didn't even see coming. For the rest of that day, Darius moves heaven and earth trying to save Daniel. He consults with lawyers, searches ancient texts, and explores every possible loophole in Persian law. Picture the most powerful man in the world pacing his chambers like a caged lion, his royal robe swishing with each frantic step. His advisors watch him with barely concealed smirks as he grows more desperate with each passing hour. But the law is ironclad. No king, no matter how great, can change what has been written. As the sun sets like a dying ember on the horizon, the conspirators return with hearts full of mock sorrow and eyes gleaming with victory. "Remember, Your Majesty," they say with false solemnity, "according to the law of the Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed." The words hit Darius like hammer blows. He knows Daniel is innocent. He knows this is a setup, but he also knows he has no choice. The order is given, and soldiers march to Daniel's house with heavy hearts. Even these hardened warriors respect the old statesman who has served their empire with honor. As they escort him through the streets, crowds gather in stunned silence. Children hide behind their mothers' robes. Merchants stop their bargaining. The only sounds are marching feet on stone pavement and the distant roar that makes everyone's blood run cold. The lions are hungry, and they know feeding time is coming. But here's what will give you chills. As they approach the lion's den, Daniel shows no fear. His step is steady, his head held high, his voice calm as he speaks words of comfort to the king who condemned him. Imagine King Darius at this moment, this powerful ruler reduced to a broken man, tears streaming down his face as he says, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Even in his darkest hour, the king's faith in Daniel's God burns brighter than his own power. The lion's den is a deep pit carved into solid rock, accessed only by a narrow opening at the top. The roar that echoes from its depths would make the bravest warrior's knees buckle. These aren't tame circus animals. They're wild, powerful predators kept hungry to ensure swift execution of criminals. As Daniel is lowered into the darkness, the conspirators can barely hide their satisfaction. Finally, the old Hebrew who made them look like fools will get what they think he deserves. A massive stone is rolled over the opening, sealing Daniel's fate, or so it seems. King Darius places his royal seal on the stone, making it official, irreversible, final. As the last light disappears above him, Daniel finds himself in absolute darkness with creatures that could tear him apart in seconds. The den fills with the sound of heavy breathing, padding footsteps, and low growls that vibrate through his chest. But then, something impossible happens. While Daniel spends the night in perfect peace among the lions, King Darius tosses and turns in his palace above. The most powerful man in the world can't eat, can't sleep, can't find comfort in any of his luxuries. He dismisses his entertainers, refuses his food, and stares at the ceiling until dawn. Every roar in the distance makes him flinch. Every shadow looks like judgment. He has never felt more powerless in his life, while in the den below, Daniel rests like a baby in his mother's arms. At the first light of dawn, Darius runs to the den like a man possessed. His royal dignity forgotten, his heart pounding, he calls out in anguish, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" For a moment, there's only silence, the terrible, deafening silence that could mean Daniel is dead. Then, from the depths of the den, comes a voice as clear and strong as ever. "My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions." The king's legs nearly give out from relief and wonder. Daniel emerged without a single scratch because he trusted in his God completely. And that same God is watching over you today. When you face your lions, whether they're fear, opposition, or impossible circumstances, remember that the same power that shut the mouths of lions can handle whatever you're going through. Your faith isn't just about Sunday mornings. It's about Monday morning courage, Tuesday afternoon trust, and every moment in between. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible Bible stories, and ring that notification bell because next week we're diving into another miraculous tale that will leave you amazed at God's power. Before you go, if these biblical stories have touched your heart, please consider supporting us on Patreon. There you'll find exclusive content, early access to new videos, and so much more. The link is right in the video description. Thank you, and God bless you.